So the title of this video, Why I Chose to Live in the Philippines, is pretty ironic really. As those viewers who've been watching my channel for a while will know, I didn't really choose the Philippines early on. The Philippines chose me. I'd never been to the Philippines before. Unlike many expats who have specifically made a conscious decision to retire in the Philippines was never on my radar.
Hello, good morning, good evening, and welcome to Big World Cinema. Without further ado, we'll continue with what you're here for.
I'd been to the majority of Asian countries, but never the Philippines. I'd met Filipinos throughout my travels, but never found Filipinas very appealing really. More attracted to the ladies from the surrounding Asian countries. But I was in my late 50s now, and whilst watching YouTube videos from Gio and Rike, I came across the Filipino mantra that age doesn't matter with regard to dating foreigners, which was music to my ageing ears. So to cut a long story short, which was actually a great song by Spandau Ballet in the early 80s, I bought a few of their early albums at the time, plus a number of 12 inches. I had a mobile disco, and me and my mate Gavin would rock up with our floppy fringes, baggy trousers and espadrilles, play our favourite tunes and just dance behind the record decks. We were seldom booked twice, God knows why. But anyway, sorry, I seem to have gone off topic, had a touch of the Rikes and disappeared up my own arse for a moment. Rike! Where was I? So when I arrived in Cebu in March 2020, the world suddenly ended, as you all know. After a couple of months I had the option of being flown home to the UK or remaining in Cebu. I'd just left the UK, so had no real desire to return there, so I remained living in Cebu. So choosing to live in the Philippines kind of happened by accident, or whatever you want to call those bizarre years. It took a while for me to settle. You can't just move here and expect to be totally in tune with the culture. Not me, anyway. I'm a fussy bugger. My glass is always half empty. So I'd find fault in a number of situations, like in restaurants where they'd never have what was listed on the menu. Being told things are unavailable, so you're better off asking, what do you actually have in the kitchen today? Also, items on the supermarket shelves are unpriced or not in their proper place. Being told they're out of stock, sir. And everything just takes so long to get done. Waiting for the bill, waiting for your change, waiting for that male scammer on Tinder with an incredible rack to return your message. If you don't like it, go back to your own country. I also find fault in the UK, buddy. Obviously, nothing's perfect. Unlike other YouTubers who specialise in the Philippines, I'm not a wanky sycophant who runs around waving the Filipino flag and will never say a bad word about the Philippines publicly on his channel. I keep it real here. But this video isn't about the negatives I find living in the Philippines. In order to live here, you need to embrace the Philippines wholeheartedly. Accept its failures, warts and all. I've learned to chill now. I've learned to be patient. I may be raging inside, but there's nothing I can do about it. And I don't need my blood pressure to rise anymore, thanks very much. Anyway, the Philippines has so much to offer, and although I've lived here over 4.5 years, I'm still discovering new gems. I mean, you're not going to visit many of the 7,641 islands. In fact, I'd wager that 99% of expats living here have not visited more than 6 islands anyway. You can find what you want in the Philippines depending on your preferences and interests. You have to look around and find which place works for you. You can live in a busy, crowded city like Manila or Cebu or Cagayan de Oro, or live in a quieter city like Iloilo or Tagbilaran, or in a city with a cooler climate like Baguio or Malabalay, or live on the beautiful island of Boracay, which has accommodation, bars and restaurants to suit all budgets, and also small enough to see the sunrise on one side of the island and sunset on the other side of the island each day. So I'm a city boy who loves beaches, but that doesn't stop me appreciating the natural beauty of the Philippines' lush landscape as I'm travelling around the different islands. It rains a lot in the Philippines, but also the sun shines every day, which for a pasty white boy from the UK is one of the biggest incentives of living here. Sure, you could say that about all the other Asian countries too, where the sun shines every day, but I don't want to live there. Why? Now, a lot of my reasons for choosing the Philippines, or not, are to do with the people. You hear this all the time. In fact, you're probably sick of hearing it. One of the British expats I got locked down with in Cebu said that some days it felt overwhelming the amount of attention he used to get from Filipinos. But he was a nutter. During the pandemic, he'd walk up, well, when I say walk, he walked like a crab with his arms flaying around aggressively, and he'd provoke the cops or guards on the street who told him to go home, sir. He had all sorts of issues going down: ADHD, OCD, ODD, GBH. He'd left school at 12, did Daryl, but he has a lisp, so he has to say his name a few times before you can understand him. His parents stitched him right up, giving him a name with rolling R's, but hauling from North London, he no doubt shortened his name to Daz anyway, after the detergent. So Daz ended up teaching kindergarten to kids in China. Bonkers, really. Last time I saw him, he was leaving on a boat for Leyte. Didn't they make a song about that? Or am I thinking of somewhere else? Oh, Duran Duran had that song on their first album, Night Boat to Cairo. But that was pants. I prefer their later stuff like Serious, Skin Trade, and the Wedding album. The song Breath After Breath is just gorgeous. Daz had visited the Philippines frequently and travelled all over the country, imposing himself on people. I mean, making new acquaintances, which is very easy to do here. Most Filipinos are warm and friendly, have a genuine, sincere interest in you. The attention that Filipinos give you is real. It doesn't matter if they're young or old, male or female. Filipinos want to engage with you. With most Filipinos respectful and will address you as Sir. How are you, sir? Where are you from, sir? Welcome to the Philippines, they will say, even though you've lived here nearly 5 years. Maybe the attention foreigners receive is not as evident nowadays as it used to be, considering that foreigners are pretty much a common sight now, especially in the big cities. I generally walk everywhere, and throughout my day will interact with random Filipinos in different situations and locations, such as store staff and security guards. During my recent stint in Cebu this year, as I was entering Ayala Mall one day, the security guard greeted me. I made a comment about the weather, saying that the sun wasn't shining today, with the security guard replying, "No worries, You are my sunshine, sir, he said. Bless him. But even on the streets of Cebu or Manila, I'll be pleasantly surprised when a Filipino would greet or acknowledge me. I mean, we don't live in the Philippines solely because we crave the attention that Filipinos give us. But as a single guy travelling alone, these daily interactions are important to me.
Here at BWC, Uncle doesn't charge a subscription fee like Auntie does, but buying us a coffee would be much appreciated. Thank you.
Knowing that when I instigate a conversation, I'm generally going to get a positive reaction. It's certainly a great feeling knowing that you're living in a country where one is welcomed so wholeheartedly. If people are not engaging in conversation with you, they're waving or shouting greetings from the back of trucks. Hey, Joe! The attention ramps up even more away from the big cities. Recently, whilst travelling in the Mindanao red zone, I was getting loads of attention, especially in Zamboanga. Few foreigners visit that area, so you tend to stick out like a sore thumb there. Literally. I'd go down to the boulevard in the evening and people's eyes would follow me as I walked along, as if I was on a catwalk. So the welcome is even warmer there, as Filipinos are keen to tell you how pleased they are you've made the effort to visit their city off the beaten track. Although I live predominantly in the Philippines, I still like visiting other countries, but I rarely experience the same warmth from the people in other Asian countries as I find in the Philippines. The only other country where I've received this sort of welcome is in India. But is it genuine? The Philippines is included in the top 10 English-speaking countries in the world. A high percentage of Filipinos are highly proficient in English, so it's very easy to strike up a conversation. The same could be said of Malaysia, where English is also widely spoken. But whilst I'm in Malaysia, I don't feel the same connection with the people that I do with Filipinos. Many expats also swear by Thailand being a much better country to live in due to its infrastructure. But in Thailand, I also feel a disconnection due to the fact that only a minority of Thais speak English. And those that do speak it in a tone that is pretty grating on the ear, and you'd rather they kept their mouth shut. Unless it comes with a happy ending. In the Philippines, you never know who you're going to meet on any given day. And I'm not just talking about when I'm vlogging. I'd have as many interactions with Filipinos when my camera is concealed in my bag as I would when it is on display. That when I go to the sari-sari store, I'm going to have a laugh with the pretty Filipina who works there. That when I catch a motorbike taxi armed with my groceries, we're going to have a chuckle about the driver's 4 kids. Filipinos are very generous people. I've lost count of the amount of times I've been passing by groups of Filipinas who are enjoying a day out together, have brought enough food with them to feed an army, and will happily offer me to join them and share their food and drinks with me. That if I'm strolling on a remote beach and come across a gaggle of teenagers drinking and playing guitar, that I'm going to be accepted into their youthful throng, presented with a couple of alcoholic chasers, and spend an unforgettable afternoon drinking and singing tunes with them, which would never happen to an ageing git back home who'd be told in no uncertain terms to Naff off, Grandad. When I'm away from the Philippines now, I feel that I want to return there quicker than I have in the past. The thought of home beckoning me back there. Knowing that as soon as I jump into a grab taxi at whichever airport I arrive at in the Philippines, I'm going to receive a warm welcome and have an amusing conversation with the driver about his life. An immediate connection that will continue throughout my stay in the Philippines. It's getting to the stage where I don't ever want to leave.
Just a quick reminder to please click the thumbs up button if you liked the video, or thumbs down button if you didn't. Obviously. Thank you. You've been watching Uncle, the man from Big World Cinema. Please like, subscribe and share with your friends.